Hi, everyone. My name is Doris Dalton, and I wanted to share my conversion story with you. So I went to college in Nashville, Tennessee, and one weekend, some friends of mine, some college buddies of mine decided, hey, let's go down to Memphis for the weekend. So we went to Memphis. We went to go eat ribs at the Rendezvous. We went to Beale Street to listen to music. And then before we left town, we wanted to stop by the new Civil Rights Museum that had just reopened to get some cultural learning in, right? So we went to the new Civil Rights Museum that is situated in the Lorraine Hotel. And if you didn't know, the Lorraine Hotel is where Dr. King was killed where he was standing on the second floor balcony and he was assassinated there. So they had just reopened the Civil Rights Museum, which is situated in this hotel. And I thought I had a pretty good education, right? I knew US history. I had studied the civil rights movement in school. So I thought I knew some things. And when I walked into the museum, the very first thing I saw, I realized, wow, I didn't know this. And I was confounded because that feeling kept coming for me again and again and again. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, I didn't know that either. And I realized slowly as I went through this exhibit at how ridiculously undereducated I was about not the facts of the civil rights movement or the facts about slavery and the impact it's had, but about the experience. I did not understand the experience of Black people in the United States until that moment, until that time when I was going through the exhibit. Like I did not understand the compounding impact, the traumatic compounding impact of being told you don't belong here, being treated that way, of people looking at you as if you are less than all the time in every facet of life. I sat at the mock-up of the Woolworths counter and pretended I was there. I sat in a bus from the Montgomery bus boycott and sat in the seat where Rosa Parks would have sat and pretended I was there. I sat down in a mock-up of like the Birmingham jail and pretended I was in jail along with other protesters. And as we kept going, I was becoming more and more overwhelmed with the tragedy, the trauma of this experience, of seeing what it was. Finally, the end of the tour of the exhibit, you end up upstairs on the second floor. You're looking into the bedroom or the hotel room where Dr. King was staying the night before he was killed. You see his Bible open on the bedside table, the bed where he slept. And the last place you end up is the spot where Dr. King was standing when he was shot and by an assassinator's bullet. And as I stood there on this spot, I was an emotional wreck, right? I was just a wreck and my stomach was churning. And I did not know that I was forever changed from that experience until the next day. We went back to school and, we're in the cafeteria at lunch and we're talking about what we did this past weekend. And, one person did this and whatever. And I said, well, this past weekend, I was in Memphis and we stopped at the Civil Rights Museum. And I went through and I described how I came to this growing realization of the trauma, the tragedy, the horrific reality of the experience of Black people, just over and over, and how it was an emotional wreck and my stomach was churning. And the moment that I knew that I had been converted towards dedicating myself to becoming an anti-racist, the moment I knew was when a white female classmate of mine looked at me and said, well, Doris, if it caused you that much distress, then just don't look. Just don't look, she said. And again, I was confounded because I was like, how could I not look, right? And how can you unsee something you have seen? And how can you unknow something that you know? And I think that's what conversion experiences are about. I think that's when you have this revelation of, I've come face to face, or I've had an experience now, and my understanding is forever changed. And what do I do with this new reality that I now am in? And for me, it was, well, now that I know this, I need to continue to learn. I need to continue to grow and also to do something with my action and my activity that addresses racism and the profound injustices of racism across the board for everyone. So this week, I'm going to be either preaching or in Bible study. I'll be talking about conversion experiences. I'm going to be talking about how our intentions need to go further than just being intentions. So I want you to prepare yourself for this time with me. I would like to ask you to reflect on your own conversion experiences. And let's get specific. Let's dig deep and talk about how do you encounter racial injustice? What have been your realizations and your revelations? Hold those stories with you as you join me on Sunday for a worship experience. And then write your stories down and bring them with you for when we gather on Wednesday for Bible study. I look forward to continuing the journey and learning with you. I'll see you soon.